What? You don't know how to cook? My son deserves better. You think your beauty can hold my son back? Kingsley, I will get you a better wife who can cook good food for you. Not this lazy girl. Once upon a time, where every food aroma told a story, Muna stood out like a sore thumb. Every home buzzed with the sound of pots clanging and knives chopping. Meals weren't just food, they were a language of love and pride. Yet Muna didn't care about cooking. Her days were spent lounging and dreaming of adornments, leaving her parents exasperated. Her mother often said, "Muna, one day, you'll need more than beauty to hold your place in this world." But Muna dismissed her words with a careless wave. Some of the villagers whispered about her laziness, but Muna didn't care. She had her eyes set on a different life, one filled with ease, luxury, and glittering jewelry. Muna's mother decided enough was enough. One morning, she handed Muna some amount of cash. "Use this for a cooking class," she said firmly. "Learn something useful." Muna nodded half-heartedly, already plotting a trip to the market to buy earrings instead. At the market, Muna spotted a shiny gold shop. She bought a lot of jewelries. She was so excited, forgetting what the money was meant for. "Why waste time sweating over pots when I can look this good?" she thought. Muna will leave home every day to her friend place. She will sleep all day and return home late, deceiving her mother that she was going to the cooking class. Till one day, when her mother finds out that Muna didn't register in any cooking class, her mother was so disappointed. "You're wasting your future," her mother said, but Muna only smiled, twirling her new earrings. Muna's carefree world shifted when Kingsley, a charming and ambitious trader, noticed her at the market. Kingsley was admired by many, but Muna's beauty caught his attention, and soon he began courting her. They would spend time together. Their love story was a trending topic in the community. Muna parents were worried. "Does he know you can't cook?" her parents asked. "He doesn't care," Muna replied confidently. Kingsley didn't ask many questions about her skills in the kitchen. He seemed captivated by her looks and charm. Before long, the two were married in a modest but joyful ceremony. Muna felt victorious she'd achieved her dream of an easy life. The honeymoon phase ended. One day, Kingsley asked Muna to prepare him a meal. "Make me something simple, I'm hungry," he said with a smile. Panic set in. Muna had never cooked before, but she didn't want to admit it. She guessed her way through the kitchen, adding too much salt, burning the rice, and serving undercooked meat. When Kingsley took his first bite, his face fell. "What is this?" he asked, pushing the plate away. Muna's cheeks burned with shame, but she masked it with a shrug. "I tried," she muttered. Kingsley didn't argue, but left the table hungry, leaving Muna feeling the weight of her failure. News of Muna's failed meal spread quickly through the community. Her mother-in-law was the loudest critic, saying, "What kind of wife doesn't know how to cook? My son deserves better." Kingsley tried to defend Muna, but his patience began to waver. "You need to learn, Muna," he said one evening. But Muna's pride wouldn't let her admit her faults. Instead, she avoided the kitchen altogether, hoping the problem would fix itself. However, each day, Kingsley's disappointment grew more visible, and Muna found herself increasingly isolated in her new home. Kingsley began eating out more often, leaving Muna alone during mealtimes. The once lively conversations between them turned into awkward silences. Muna noticed his disappointment but didn't know how to bridge the gap. She convinced herself that Kingsley was being unreasonable. One day, Kingsley returned home with a warm meal packed in a container. "My colleague's wife made this," he said casually as he ate. The message was clear, though unspoken. Others could do what Muna could not. Her pride took a hit, but instead of facing the issue, she grew defensive. blaming Kinsley's for being too demanding. The rift between them widened, leaving Muna feeling both angry and helpless. Muna's mother paid her a visit after hearing rumors about her struggles. "What's going on, Muna?" she asked gently. At first, Muna tried to brush it off, but her mother pressed on. "I warned you, didn't I?" her mother said. "A home isn't built on beauty or pride alone. You need to contribute." Muna scoffed, but deep down, her mother's words struck a nerve. "If you don't change, you could lose everything," her mother added before leaving. Muna spent the rest of the day sulking, but for the first time, doubt crept into her mind. Was her mother right? The tension peaked during a family gathering. Kingsley's parents and siblings came over, expecting a feast. Muna, unprepared, served hastily made soup that lacked flavor. Her mother-in-law didn't hold back. "This is unacceptable," she said loudly, shaking her head in disapproval. Kingsley, embarrassed, avoided eye contact. His younger sister whispered, "How does she live like this?" Muna wanted to vanish. After the guests left, Kingsley confronted her. "I can't keep living like this, Muna," he said. His voice wasn't angry. It was tired. The weight of his words stayed with her long after he left the room. That night, Muna couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, replaying the day's events. The humiliation, the disappointment in Kingsley's eyes, her mother's warnings, all of it swirled in her mind. For the first time, Muna admitted to herself that she had been wrong. She realized her pride and laziness were driving a wedge between her and the life she wanted. Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "I have to change." The road ahead felt daunting, but something inside her stirred, a flicker of determination. The next morning, Muna swallowed her pride and approached her neighbor, Mama Nkechi, known for her delicious meals. "Can you teach me how to cook?" Muna asked hesitantly. Mama Nkechi raised an eyebrow but nodded. Her first lesson was humbling. Muna fumbled with basic tasks, burning her fingers and spilling ingredients. Mama Nkechi chuckled, saying, "Cooking takes patience, child." Despite the embarrassment, Muna persisted. She returned every day, eager to learn. Slowly, she began to understand the rhythm of the kitchen, the chopping, stirring, and seasoning. Muna's first successful dish was a simple vegetable stew. She tasted it and smiled. It was far from perfect, but it wasn't a disaster. Encouraged, she served it to Kingsley that evening. Kingsley hesitated before taking a bite. His eyes widened slightly, and Muna held her breath. "This isn't bad," he said with a small smile. Muna felt a surge of pride. It was a small victory, but it gave her hope. For the first time in months, they shared a meal without tension, and Muna realized how much she had missed his company. Feeling more confident, Muna invited her mother-in-law for dinner. It was a bold move, and even Muna doubted herself as she prepared the meal. She chose a dish Mama Nkechi had praised during their lessons, a hearty jollof rice with grilled chicken. Her mother-in-law arrived with skepticism written all over her face. Muna served the meal, her hands trembling slightly. To her surprise, her mother-in-law took a second helping. "This is better," she admitted grudgingly. It wasn't glowing praise, but it was a start. Muna felt a weight lift off her shoulders. Muna's growing skills in the kitchen began to mend her relationship with Kingsley. He started coming home for meals, praising her efforts with genuine delight. "You've changed," he said one evening, smiling as he helped her set the table. Muna felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in months. For the first time, she realized that cooking wasn't just about food. It was about care and connection. Each meal became a way to show Kingsley her love, and their bond grew stronger with every shared dish. Muna's transformation wasn't just about cooking. As she spent more time in the kitchen, she learned the value of patience and discipline. Gone were the days of idly lounging around. She woke up early, planned meals, and even started managing the household budget more responsibly. Her dedication didn't go unnoticed. Kingsley began helping her with small tasks, like chopping vegetables or cleaning up after meals. "We're a team," he said one day, and Muna felt a deep sense of gratitude. One afternoon, Mama Nkechi surprised Muna with a challenge. "It's time to test your skills," she said, handing Muna a recipe for egusi soup. "Make this on your own." Muna hesitated but accepted the challenge. She spent hours carefully following the instructions, tasting and adjusting as she went. When she presented the finished dish to Mama Nkechi, the older woman nodded approvingly. "You've done well, my child. Keep it up," she said. Muna beamed with pride, feeling like she'd climbed a mountain. Muna's cooking became the talk of the town. Neighbors who once whispered about her laziness now praised her determination. Her mother-in-law, who had been her harshest critic, began visiting more often, bringing recipes for Muna to try. "I underestimated you," her mother-in-law admitted one day, patting Muna's shoulder. "You've proven yourself." Muna felt a surge of pride and relief. Her hard work was paying off, not just in her skills, but in the relationships she was rebuilding. Kingsley's birthday was approaching, and Muna wanted to surprise him with a feast. She spent days planning the menu, which included all his favorite dishes. She even practiced making a cake, something she had never attempted before. When the day arrived, Olamide walked into a house filled with the aroma of delicious food. His friends and family were gathered, all marveling at Muna's transformation. "You've outdone yourself," Kingsley said, pulling her into a hug. Muna felt a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing she had brought joy to her husband and their home. As Muna's confidence grew, she decided to help other women in the town who struggled like she once did. She started a small cooking group, inviting anyone willing to learn. "If I can do it, so can you," she told them. The group became a source of friendship and support. Women shared recipes, stories, and laughter. Muna felt a new sense of purpose, knowing she was making a difference in her community. One day, Muna's mother visited again. "I'm proud of you," she said, tears in her eyes. Muna hugged her tightly, thanking her for never giving up on her. Her father, too, expressed his pride. "You've grown into a fine woman," he said. Muna realized how far she had come, from a lazy girl who squandered opportunities to a determined woman who valued hard work and family. Muna's reputation as a skilled cook reached beyond her town. She received an invitation to participate in a regional cooking competition. Nervous but excited, she accepted the challenge. Kingsley encouraged her every step of the way, helping her practice and cheering her on. "You've got this," he said on the day of the competition. Muna felt a surge of confidence, knowing she wasn't alone. The competition was intense, with participants showcasing their best dishes. Muna poured her heart into her cooking, creating a rich pot of seafood okra soup and perfectly steamed rice. When the judges announced her as the winner, Muna was overwhelmed with emotion. The audience erupted in applause, and Kingsley rushed to her side, lifting her in celebration. It was a moment she would never forget. Winning the competition opened doors for Muna. A local restaurant offered her a part-time job as a chef, and she eagerly accepted. It was an opportunity to continue growing and share her passion with others. Kingsley was her biggest supporter, often stopping by the restaurant to cheer her on. "You're amazing," he told her one evening, and Muna felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Sitting with Kingsley one evening, Muna reflected on her journey. "I thought I wanted an easy life," she said, "but I've learned that the best things come from hard work and love." Kingsley smiled, taking her hand. "You've grown so much, Muna. I'm proud of you." Muna realized that she had not only saved her marriage, but had also discovered her true self. Her story was a testament to the power of change, proving that it's never too late to embrace growth and create a better life.